Good evening, everybody. It's Monday. It's a moist Monday.
Nice.
It's moist. Nice. Welcome to your weekly slice of plastic crack podcast. Just us two this week, Martin. Just us two.
It is. I know. Again. I know. Hold on. I just worked out what our beeping was as well while we were there. Hayley's just got in the car, turned on her Bluetooth, and my headphones have connected to her Bluetooth. I've just worked out what it is. Now she's driven off. It's disconnected.
We thought we were getting a warning because we were late.
I know. Well, I think StreamYard should think of that. I think you should get a thing that flashes up because, of course, we get into conversation and you get this little countdown. And then exactly. You should. I think that's something they should do.
I've got a confession. I almost forgot to hit the go live button as well.
It's not like we've not done that before. Quite a few times.
No. Anyway, yes, it's your Monday night plastic crack podcast with me, Steve, Mon.HQ, and Martin over there, Seventh Son.
Hello.
Dom is still on his jollies in Turkey.
On his hollybobs.
Trying not to come back with 17 new projects.
What did he send us in the chat earlier? He sent me a picture of some Seljuk armor because he was at a Seljuk castle or a Seljuk fort where the Viking, Vikings were Norse members of the, I assume, Varangian Guard had graffitied on a Seljuk fort, and then they saw this amazing suit of Seljuk armor. He's going to come back. Yeah, that was.
No, cool. He's not going to be able to resist that, is he?
No. I kind of want him to. What, the armor or starting a new project?
Starting a new project. He'll get back, and I guarantee within a couple of weeks he'll have books. He'll have 40 million boxes of figures.
Oh yeah.
And he'll be like, "Well, I didn't mean to start that," and then he'll move on to his other.
I didn't. I slipped and fell into that online store, and my wallet just happened. My PayPal account just fell open.
Honestly, anyway, people in the chat, place your bets. What are the odds that Dom will have some kind of new project or 7 planned for when he gets back? Because that's just his way. Anyway, so it's season 5, episode 32, and tonight we're going to be discussing the benefits of the hobby, whether it be your mental well-being, your physical well-being. Getting angry at dice, or replacing your dice mid-game, things like that.
No, that's not good for anyone's well-being.
It is.
That's not. That's a mean thing to do to the person you're playing against. that slightly triggers them.
I see nothing wrong with it. I really don't. Anyway, don't forget that we are sponsored by the awesome Boards and Swords Hobbies in Derby. If you're using their web store, use the code PCP5 when you're checking out to get an additional 5% off your already discounted order. And if you can't find something you're looking for, contact Ian at the chaps at Boards and Swords, and I'm pretty sure they'll be able to help you out with any purchases you require.
Absolutely, and there's quite a lot on the horizon as well.
There is quite a lot coming up. Big thank you to everybody that's watching this on the catch-up. Always appreciate it. And don't forget to check out all our channels, like, share, subscribe, just leave comments, and do all the shill stuff that we so enjoy being part of. Right, before we get into that, how are you?
I'm all right. It's things are calming down. My youngest is now at school, and therefore I feel like life has become a little bit easier, and I just want Ken to know he's a long way off from this sort of modicum of quiet. Yeah, no, it's all right. I feel like I'm in a bit of a tip at the minute because I've got so much CrackCon stuff around me. I've got I don't know if you can see it, but all of these, no, that's the wrong way. All of that on there, that's all stuff for the raffle. That's stuff for the raffle. All of that. There's been some amazing contributions from people, so thank you very much. We've also had quite a few things from companies as well. So if someone from those companies is watching, thank you. That's awesome. I'm surrounded by clutter, and I don't know why. It doesn't normally bother me, but at the moment it is. So no, I'm all right. I've managed to get on with a fair bit. But yeah, what about you? How are you?
Yeah, good. Got a wee bit done last week. Had a couple of days off, very relaxing. Just painting for 2 days. I really enjoyed it. Tell you what, that raffle is looking rather good. I think it's one when we do whole CrackCon. I think that's one of the favourite parts of the day, isn't it? The raffle. No,
it is. There is some nice stuff. Well, this is the problem: is that these very generous sort of donations have been coming in, but of course I've been looking at them and sort of looking at them, going, "Oh, I really want that." Well, look at me. There was one that came in the other day, and I was looking at it going, I don't think that anyone who's coming to CrackCon is going to appreciate it more than I will. You know, so it's almost like a one for the raffle, one for me. No, it's so generous. It is awesome. I think we're up to. I think I've got here about 25 prizes so far. Plus, I know there's more in the day. I know Dom has some.
I'll be bringing as well.
I know there's some that people have been emailing, saying they're going to bring some, and I imagine there's still a month to go, so there'll still be some bits and bobs coming in from other people. So yes, it's very, very cool, and it'll be on the way.
I've definitely got my eye on a few of the things in the raffle. I would like to win.
It's all right. Ken will win them, and then you can just threaten it out of him.
I've only, of all the time we've been having it, I've only ever won things in the raffle twice.
Really?
Yeah, I won.
But we're not allowed to take part anymore, are we?
No, I mean the big ones I give back. I won.
I'm glad you do. Someone else doesn't.
No, someone else doesn't because they've got no moral compass. That's why.
He still hasn't played it.
He hasn't. I won some of those War Games Atlantic late Romans.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? You were good.
And then I won a copy of Black Powder, the rule book, but I swapped it with Carl for a hill.
For a hill?
A hill.
Amazing.
Because I'm not going to get any use out of it. So yeah, I bartered it for I swapped it for a hill. But yeah, always a great part of the day is the raffle.
Absolutely.
Despite my horrific bad luck. Right, let's see who's joined us, and let's get some of those much anticipated weather reports. First up, David, a flooded Cheltenham. He's painted some Blue Moon Napoleonic Austrian Grenadiers for his mate's birthday. Paul, hope you're all well. Steve's hosting, and the whole of England is moist. I might put that on my CV.
This is my epitaph.
Here's one for you, Martin. Don said that you should be working on World Eaters.
As Martin should be for Legion. I've got some space. I've got one made up somewhere. He's ready to go. I'm just painting ghouls and Romans and little ghouls and little Numidians and Natal native horse, both mounted and dismounted, and then I might get around to a World Eater. But are they World Eaters in the nice white and blue of the Heresy, or have you just gone for the slapping them in red? That's the question.
With the big pointy things.
Yeah.
And an abundance of skulls and chains. Yes. Red Steph, even Steph, how you doing? 9999 pardoned. Good evening, all.
Hey, dude.
Carl's here. He's working. We're less than 4 weeks to CrackCon. Excuse me. He's working on a Banditos gang for the Dead Man's Hand table. I'll be bringing my own gang.
The Banditos, you dirty player. So my brother-in-law has the Banditos. I think he might actually be bringing them to CrackCon, actually. So you might end up with Banditos. But they are filthy. The worst, the gang I have the most problems playing against are the Pinkertons. They are filthy. I haven't seen them in the new rules. I don't know if they've had anything changed. But essentially, the guy that I play against who had the Pinkertons, you could just arm them all with shotguns. And then you can pick one of the enemy gang to be your quarry. And essentially, every Pinkerton, I can't remember if it's every Pinkerton or just one Pinkerton, but they get a free move towards them. And you think, that's not so good. It is when they got shotguns, because it means they can move 3 times, and so they could go a foot across the table and then just shoot you point blank with the shotgun. So yeah, they're nasty. But that would be nice to see some dead.
Yeah, I might paint up some Pinkertons for that. East Norfolk is here, Glendower. Good evening, one and all.
Hey.
Mike Schubert. It's getting warmer by the day in South Africa. He is painting bolt action Greek as well as more epic Romans. Lionheart, Rogue Trooper.
Hey.
Benjamin's here. Good evening from foggy Denmark. He's not working any minis, but he's rewriting the special rules for his CrackCon event. I'm looking forward to seeing that game, Benjamin. I am looking forward immensely to see in that game.
There's a lot of work going into all the games, actually.
There
I've
is.
seen so many different progress reports from like across the board, and they all look immense.
They do. I'm looking forward. Yeah, some really, really good stuff so far. Nick Games, he's trapped in a Napoleonic rabbit hole. You have my deepest, deepest sympathies. What a horrible place to be. Andrew Jeff, good evening. All Sam Gates. John Salby, he is slowly reviving from the lurgy. Oh my God, Martin, how uncanny is that? Cruel Seas. We were just talking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were.
It's like John, stop reading our brains, mate. Oh, brilliant. Steve's been listening to Primus and now Hobby Time. What album, Steve? We need to know these important questions. Primus, awesome band. Mark said, good evening from a wet Buckinghamshire. Rich, debating whether to invest in a boat ready for CrackCon after days miserable weather. Hopefully we're getting it all out the way. So in 4 weeks' time, we won't have a repeat of last year and the biblical downpours that we experienced over the couple of days we were there. Robin Rose Hobden, hello. Ian Wright. It's an excessively moist Northamptonshire. Andy Starker, Dave Benson, Trevor Hodgkins. He's having a go at painting some Napoleonic British. Braver man than I. Mozart, hello Jonas. He's test painted some World War II US winter figures for bolt action. It's dark, cold, and moist. I'm sensing a theme here. Carazette, Dan Justin, hello Dan, hope you're well, mate. Good to see you posting some more of your 10mm fantasy stuff. Joseph Kananovitz, good day from a cloudy but comfortable North Carolina. He's painting Blood and Plunder Pirates and a sloop one as well. That sounds really good. That's another game that I have to keep looking away from it. When anyone posts any updates, I'm like, I just no. And having played it, it's brilliant. I really, really did enjoy playing it. Rich Johnson, hello Rich, how you doing well, mate? Lee's Pirate Painting, very wet Bristol. He's working on some more AWI 28mm stuff, plus some of the new Mantic Games Abyssals. Martin, a warm and pleasant Jersey.
Hello.
I'm glad someone's getting
somewhere is, yeah.
Yeah, Old School FRP. He's running a 3D printer after replacing the VAT film. My printer's been out of action for months because I can't be asked replacing it. I really need to get around to doing that soon.
You know what I did, right? I was talking to Miller about this earlier, right? So I have replaced the film in mine a couple of times, but there's about half a thousand, so 500 then. Just really, really small screws, and I've threaded so many of them, right? And this time it broke. Do you know what? I just bought a new tank with one already fitted because I was just like, do you know what? It's just not worth it. I know that's like, throwing money at the situation.
Yeah.
But do you know what? It's absolutely fine because Haley doesn't need the swearing. I'm not going to be in a good mood. It's going to affect the rest of the weekend when it happens. It does it, and I'll have a spare then that I can I can change it to. But yeah, I made all these justifications in my head and then just ordered the new one.
That's what I've been tempted to do. I've taken all the screws out and they're just sat in a pile. I'm like, I don't want to. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to.
No. I know I'm a bit like that now. With a lot of things where it's just, but it comes to things like DIY as well and things like that. People go, "Oh, I could do it myself. It would just take me a couple of hours." And I'm sitting there. Like this is the kind of stage where I go, "Yeah, but I want to do other things."
That's like I've got a bedside table I got from IKEA, and I was struggling with it. So do you know what I did? I glued it together with super glue.
So that's a little bit. So when we moved in here and I got all these, they're not hard to put together at all. But it just takes a while. And I sat there and I considered paying for that service where someone comes and does it, and then I forgot. And then Haley was like, "We're not doing that," because I forget that Haley is one of these strange people who enjoys flat packs. Yeah, she would be that person that she would come around your house and do it for free. She would feel like she likes doing them. She'll come around your house and decorate and do it for free and all this kind of stuff. She would do it for free because she enjoys it. So, yeah.
No, I hate it. I always set it with good intentions.
Right,
and then the next thing is I'm just gluing everything together because it's the easiest thing to do. Little Legions, good evening all. Marky Sparky, David Kerr. It's a very damp Peak District. He's working on some Imperial Roman command bases. Hey, Cardboard Fortress. It's wet and foggy in Nottingham. What you don't want is a wet cardboard fortress. That's going to just lead to all kinds of problems. Hey, the real Steve. You've been playing some Space Marine 2. Shiggles and Sparrows out, James. Hope you're all right, mate. Rather moist and less warm Yorkshire. Double Dip. Carson Lambert. Oh, Carson, hope you're doing well, mate. Craig Canesi, History and Dice. Oh, Philip. Traj Anic is here. He's building an Albanian Yugoslav platoon for Bolt Action 3 from a cold Lake district. Chris McCookie is in Bangalore tonight painting some 10mm Byzantines from
awesome.
That's a bizarre combination of a place to be and painting figures like that. Brilliant. The stream's late, really late here. Yeah, I can appreciate that. You know, thanks for sticking with us. It's probably an odd time there. Round Monkey. He's smashing out is that King's something?
Round King's German Legion.
That's the one. I was almost there.
Round Monkey.
Yes. Ben Lowry from Tennessee work on epic ACW project. That sounds intriguing, Ben. It really does. Allard's here. Hello, Allard. Hope you're doing well, mate. Captain Aqua. Duke Wellington. Good day from Oz. Yorkshire Dragoon. Hello, Tim. Hope you're doing well. Andy Stocker. He's painting some. Oh, no, I don't think he's painting that. David Thu. Carl Burks. So Carl, thanks for the hill. We did a trade a couple of crackdowns back. And I got a hill and you got a rulebook. Everybody's happy. Are we getting to Wargaming history? He's in Western France. Light rain in Western France, working on French Lancers, Judge Dredd, and Imperial Romans. Now that's what you call
cracking.
Diversity on the painting desk. Very nice of Empress to donate a rocket battery.
Empress have not been contacted. Empress have not been contacted. Do you want to do a charity? Do you want me to do like a live stream? I could do a charity live stream of me trying to stick it together. See how many people come and watch. You do a pay-per-view to watch me lose my mind.
If you do that, I will paint 4 drummers from 4 different Napoleonic nations.
Do you mean the worst thing would be trying to do it with like some of that glue that you get in the newsagent? Like, you know, like here's your challenge. Here's this rocket battery. You haven't got, all you've got is a blunt blade and the glue that you know from the newsagent.
That could be done. That could be arranged. I think it sounds quite.
I'll do it for charity. And then I'll probably need a day off.
Yeah, I'd need a day off. If I painted 4 drummers, I'd need a week off work. Andy's here, General Haig. I remember that from Father Ted, the organizer, does sometimes win the raffle. Absolutely, that happens more times than you'd imagine. I've just got ghost. But
it wasn't that. It was that he. So right, it was that he. In the first one, it was the first one, wasn't it? Or the second one, I can't remember. But he won the big.
He won Hero Quest, didn't he?
Flames. Well, that was the second thing. So he
won that
massive Flames of War Team Yankee start, and we all looked at him and we were like, "Put it back, Ken." And he was like, "Are you serious?" Like, yes, put it down. Can't do that. I want to keep it. And he's not going to watch it, so it doesn't matter. And then he put it back next to, and then someone else won it. Then the next thing come out is Hero Quest. It was bloody him, so we couldn't really make him do it again, could we? No. So it was unbelievable.
No, he just, and he gets very excitable during the raffle. Ian has to calm him down several times. Ken Marshall, good evening from Soggy, Wiltshire. Steve won something at CrackCon 3 and then painted an entire army. The danger of attending the CrackCon raffle. Tony, evening all. Good to see the dynamic duo in charge again.
Yeah.
Becoming a regular occurrence these days.
I know.
Robert's here. He's working on some 10mm Punic Wars minis on the go. Along with a bottle of old speckled hen. Good choice.
That's only made around the corner from here.
I partook of a few old speckled hens at the weekend.
There's the old speckled hen have got an entirely separate bottling plant here in Bury. So I think it must be like one of the most popular ones. See, it's Green King essentially own every single pub here.
I like old crafty hen as well. It's quite nice. It's a bit of a stronger one, but it is nice.
Is that the light one? Is that that's golden? That's golden.
Old crafty is about 6.5. Dermot, not often I can often say this with the air, it's sitting in a dry dairy. Where we got else? On your headstone here lies Steve. He made the world a moister place. That's just horrific, isn't it? Welcome back, Games. Hello, Wall from British Columbia.
Hello.
Oh, brilliant. So Steve was listening to Seas of Cheese. Excellent album. It's got Jerry was a race car driver on it. Yo from Bulbous Higgins. Fred's Factorium. Evening, folks. We're almost at the bottom. So Andy says, can we have a rocket battery nap drum as an Italian tank stream? My God.
You'll just be watching the complete sort of mental deterioration of three people live.
There'd be stuff broken. We couldn't monetize it. We'd be demonetized in about 34 seconds.
No, it'd just be over. And I don't think it would do anything. It wouldn't. The companies that make them probably wouldn't enjoy it very much.
No. Well, it's not a good advert for their wares. Captain Aqua, that raffle prize was just resting in my account. Louis Baby, hello. Flesh Cloud. That's a new one. That's very Nurgle.
It's quite
Red's Fence 76. I'm gonna get. I'm at the bottom. I'm at the bottom now. Anyway, hello, welcome to everybody. Got through that without any hitches. I used the word moist more times than I care to, though. That just seems to be a regular Monday occurrence now.
It does now, doesn't it? Yeah.
Welcome to the Plastic Moist podcast.
That can be added to the checklist, to the bingo card for this year's thing. The word moist.
Scotch eggs.
I do like Scotch egg. I had a Scotch egg today, actually.
I had more last week. I had some the week. I'm now addicted to them. Right. So, quick checkup with us. You've had a busy time, haven't you, Martin?
Yes, I have. I have no pictures of models to show off, even though I have finished stuff. I don't really have an excuse really for not having pictures of them, because they are done. I couldn't be bothered to clear everything away, but it was quite hard.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
So they will be coming, but I have finished. You're going to see them, but there's a lot of all these in here.
So that one unit.
That's one unit in there. I need to take some photos of them. And I'm working on various bits and bobs. I'm working on some more ghouls at the moment. My Empress order arrived. So I'm working on these lovely Natal native horse miniatures. So which more came than I thought. Which doesn't mean that I accidentally got in the deal, because I just picked the deal and added an officer and added the horse holder. And I thought there would be less. So I thought I was only going to be able to field a small unit, but there's enough in here for a normal size unit. So that's cool. So yeah, but what's been happening? I finished editing that Soldiers of Napoleon game, and that went out on Friday, and it's had an amazing response. It's been really, it's been really cool, because I wasn't too sure what sort of response it would get. Not because it's like a controversial video or nothing like that, but because it's not. While it's a really good rule set, and we really enjoyed it, I wouldn't say it's sort of like a really well-known rule set. It's only been out for about 18 months, the video's going mad at the minute. It's great. I mean, it's really good. I enjoyed it. We'll do another one soon. So that's nice to see, especially as it's Napoleonics. So that's been getting, I know it's been getting a lot of love. So I finished editing that. I've been doing more painting, but on Saturday I was lucky. I went to the Warlord Open Day, and I caught up with quite a few of the chaps in the chat. So it was nice to sort of catch people like Mark and James, and a whole bunch of others, and just catch up with people. But yeah, I thought I could roll through some of what we sort of went on, and so I did have to leave here at 6 a.m. To get there. I was part of I was invited there as part of the sort of content creator program. I guess that's what it's called. And that was nice. So there was a whole bunch of people. There were podcasters, bloggers, painters, YouTubers, all sorts of different people there actually. And it was got to chat to quite a few of them, and share ideas and things. That was quite fun. And we got to go on a tour around Warlord. Now I did go to an open day, but I think it was even the first or second one they did. It was whenever they released Black Powder version 2. They're in their old place.
All right, yeah.
That was good. There was probably only about 30 people for the whole day there, and I think they said there was about 250, 300 on this one, something like that. So they got these marquees outside where they had like lots of games and that. We went round, got to go in the studio and chat about things and get some little looks at what's coming. But of course, the big drive behind this is because Bolt Action comes out next week, version 3. So of course, the big push is on Bolt Action, and absolutely, what was quite cool, even though I'm not really into Bolt Action, the enthusiasm of everyone who was there is actually a little bit infectious, and you do kind of sit there in the end, you're like, oh, I wonder if I could do a small one. It's actually quite interesting, you know. So that was cool. They did like a make and take, so they handed out all these sprues. James is in the chat, and he can tell you what it was. I think it was something American. He was banging on about you and open hands or something like that. I don't know. I was just pleased because they had Yorkshire tea there, and he wasn't complaining about that. Although he did. Do you know what? So at one point, I needed. I realized because I bought some stuff, and my backpack wasn't big enough to put it in. So I asked if I could. So he said, "Oh, do you want to borrow? Do you want to borrow a bag?" So I said, "Yeah." Then we got it. He goes, "I want that back." He's so Yorkshire. It's like, I said, so I just want to put it in my car. And then maybe I want it back. It's because it was like an Aldi canvas or Lidl canvas.
Right.
Bag or something like that. Oh, come on, it's still like 25p. Or up north, you just traded a pebble for it. I don't know. But so we got to go around, went in the studio. They showed us lots of stuff from the design point of view, and I got to have a really good chat with Marco, who does the epic sculpting. I was gonna put these in the news, but I'm gonna put them up now actually because it makes more sense. I think people have probably seen, and they knew people would take photos, so I snapped some pictures of the epic Celts that are coming. I don't know when they're coming, but more ghouls basically. And while they were doing this presentation, I could see in the background, I was like, there's a chariot. So I got very excited because that's what I've just been painting, and the ghouls are awesome. But what I really liked is that they've got the standards, they've got the cornican, and as you can see, there's a lot of strips that are coming out. Now, these strips are a mixture. So the ones on the right are just more ghouls. So I think there's going to be a total of 6 different strips now for just ghouls. You know, just standard ghouls. But you've got ones in there with standards and heroes. And then on the other side, they've got more skirmishers. They've got Celtic fanatics, and I think they've got Galatians as well. So look, there you go. Lots of butts, lots of asses. But as I was chatting to Stu Mac about this online. That's gonna be so easy to paint. Just contrast, just flesh contrast. There you go. Done. That's maybe a bit of extra shading here and there. Maybe some 5 o'clock shadow. But that was cool. Some of the things that they were talking about and they were showing that was in there. I mean, I'm not going to right. There are channels that cover Bolt Action, okay, and there's people who are into Bolt Action, who are into World War II. If you go and look at those channels, there was people like Tabletop Tommy's, the Ministry of Miniatures, Kaiser, Modeling Advantage was there. Got to have quite a long chat with Pete the Wargamer. That was quite fun. I had a little demo game of Bolt Action, kicked my ass. And there were quite a lot of other people there as well. They'll all be covering those because I just looked and went, oh yeah, World War II. That was my takeaway. But we know that there are other things coming from the seminars. They were talking about things like the Italian Wars source book, other Italian Wars models and things that they want to explore, potentially things like the Boer War as well, which sort of pricked my ears a little bit. What was really cool, I got to give him a shout out. I went out into the marquee. Now, I actually didn't go to any of the seminars because I was talking to so many people, and what was really nice was there were so many people who came up who said they watched the stream and they watched the channel, and they wanted to know where Dom was. They were asking where you were. And I said, I gave the real reason you weren't there. For Dom, I just said he was gallivanting off on his holidays. But they that was just really nice. It was really just chatting with people, and people, when you could do the War of the Roses, going, oh, I really liked it when you did the siege and the cannon blew up. So that was fun. Had a chat with Rick Priestley along with Mark and James. That was fun. I went there quite a bit of a chat with John Stallard as well, and obviously there's some bits and bobs. They let us know things that are going to be sort of on the horizon. I did try to tease out of them what might be sort of there for a few more releases, and the atmosphere was just really, really good, really good. And Andy, friends of General Haig, they put on this Napoleonic game. That's epic scale. Oh, sorry, yeah, it was immense. I kept on popping back through the day to see sort of how things were progressing, and it looked awesome. I've got there are loads of photos of this on the Facebook group, so go and check them out. You can find the link to the Facebook group down below, and if you try to apply really quickly, we'll let you in because Dom's on holiday. Yeah, go and check those out. But the game was absolutely awesome. Although Andy did unlock a new fear, a new hobby fear.
Oh, aye.
What's that thing that you don't want people to be eating when they're touching your figures?
Oh, anything sort of cheese related. What's it's Cheetos?
Right. I've got one now that is worse. I don't know, Andy. If Andy's in, his friends of General Haig, is he in the chat?
Yeah, I think he is.
In the chat, yes, he is. Yes, he is, because he's going on about the 17th century Polish. Of course, he were. He. Oh no, thank you, David. Sorry, I've just seen this, David Benton. I did win, but I'm humble because I know that something's going to go wrong. You are right. That's the first game I've won in 6 months, and it felt good. So basically, Andy, when there was a burger van there, and got to commend the lady who was running that burger van. She was on the go all day, didn't stop. But he went and bought like a bacon and egg sandwich with a runny egg. And he was biting into this egg roll and leaning over the gaming table. And there was this string of egg coming out. He just realized, and he came back and the egg went on the floor. But that unlocked a whole new fear for me, because that would have gone like in a line across all these hussars that were like going up the road. There would have just been this egg tsunami that wiped them out. So I'm updating the rules. No egg sandwiches at the gaming table.
Okay,
no
if anyone has ever had any of their miniatures sullied by egg, please let us know, because that sounds like a new one for me.
It was amazing.
I had to repaint that unit. Well, why? They got covered in yolk. So it's not something you'd be
when you do. Yeah. It would have given them a nice sheen. It would. But all I could think about, I was like, it's going to go in the gaming mat and it's going to get matted and go. So that was my that's a new fear unlocked. But it was very nice. I had a bacon sarnie from there. That was bloody lovely. But yeah, Friends of General Haig, best looking game there. It was fantastic.
It does look really good.
I got a look at the Vanguard board game.
Oh yeah.
When I say I got a look at it, I looked at it. Can't tell you anything about it. Well, I went to look at it. They kept on saying, go and have a look at it. So if I went to look at it, there's no one here. I don't know what to do. So I looked at the box, took a picture, and then off I went. And I did pick some stuff up. But everyone there was just in a really, not just the staff at Warlord, but there was just a really, really good feel to the day. And I think that was quite nice in a way, because what I do think that sometimes Warlord get some unnecessary flack. I do. I sometimes think that the flack that companies get is deserved when they do silly things or make poor choices or poor marketing decisions. But it was a really good day, and all of the staff there were willing to chat, and they you could see that they were proud of what they do, and they wanted to share the information with you. And everyone there was was sort of just a really good community spirit. I really enjoyed it, and I would say if you have the chance to go. So I think there was even a rumor. I can't remember who told me that. It may have been James, so blame him if I'm wrong. He said they might even do like a 2-dayer or something like that. But it was really good, and that was that was nice. Obviously there was Paul was, I think, meant to be there. He was going to try and be there, Paul Sawyer, but unfortunately he wasn't well enough to attend. But the charity model.
Oh yeah,
that's an idea. I've got one to paint up. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might do like a diorama or something with it as well. So I had a really, really good day, and then I came back and I was a wee bit tired. a wee bit tired.
Days like that, they
yeah.
take it out of you. I remember when me and my mate went to the 10th anniversary, and we didn't get back till about 7:30. I was goosed. I've been on my feet all day. It was just a it was a really good day, but yeah, it does not take it out of you.
It really does. We all got, everybody went, got a goodie bag of bits and bobs, which is nice. And I spent way more than I intended to. So we've got more Zulus, more stuff at Epic Punic Wars as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be coming. So I didn't originally intend I was going to go to Warhammer World, but I needed to get back to help Haley with the kids and stuff. But yeah, it was just really just a fun day. So that's essentially been my week in wargaming, and lots of CrackCon stuff. That is essentially what's been going on. So yeah, it was really good. What about you? What have you been up to?
But before we do that, can I just there's been some proper slapstick comments here. So Red Sven, he once projectile vomited on his Necromunda terrain. Absolutely brilliant. That just sounds enchanting. However, I think Dietrich can make a googly goo. Takes it by a mile. I was playing at Games Workshop and my friend slapped my back while I was clearing my throat. A cartoon snot bomb landed in the midst of some fighting Uruk High. Still petrified of the memory. Just sounds.
That's amazing.
There's just some things that just gaming moments
phenomenal
just stick in your brain, and yeah, firing out a Docker's omelette like that.
Docker's omelette. I've never heard that.
I must stick with everybody, especially the table. Right, so what have I been up to? A bit of a mixed bag, actually. So like I said, I had a couple of days off last week, so I listened to so much music last week and just painted and relaxed, and it was really good. And I finished my second unit of Zulus.
I saw. Very cool. They're Perrys, aren't they?
These are all Perrys, yes. I've got these down to work, and I'm not a big batch painter. But I've got the technique for these chaps now that I can paint them in batches of 6, which is really quite fast for me.
I think that's about what I did, because I put about 6 on the base. So
yeah,
I sort of, yeah.
So it's just because there's a very limited palette, and I've got a set technique, and it's quick and it gets them done. But this is what they all look like together so far.
There you go. That's a unit.
Yes,
that's a unit. There we go.
Again, once I'd bunched them all up, that I was like, wow, how have I painted that much in just over 2 weeks?
They look lovely. They look really, really nice. Really nice.
I'm going to order some more this week.
Oh man, I've been reading it. It's Paul's fault. So Paul put me onto a couple of books. Paul, if you're in the chat, dude, those books, they were amazing, and I don't know where I've put them. I think they're upstairs. But the ones actually on the Zulu and the Zulu the War, and also some of their commanders, they were just phenomenal. And now I've got this burning desire to represent so many of these individual Zulu commanders, especially the one who's Umbelini, who defeated them, or who defeated them at in Tombe. He fought them at Holbane and then Kambula, and then he was eventually killed in this sort of like little skirmish. I was like, I need to make this guy. Like he's so cool, because he was actually was he a Swazi chief? He wasn't actually a Zulu. He was he was basically I think he was exiled and living in Zululand, and he was fighting on behalf of the Zulu. So it's just got this really cool story. Ubuntu Gorge, yeah. But yeah, if you've got the I'll tell you what, you talk. I'm going to find a link to that book, and I will
answer Mark's questions. What skin tone do we use? It's dead simple. So I start off with Vallejo flat brown. Once that's dry, I add a sort of watered down wash of Vallejo black wash. For the highlights, I then get it's the MIG burnt sand, and I add it to the original flat brown. And then for the highlights, the very upper highlights, I just add MIG light skin tone to that mix and just do the lighter parts. It's dead quick to do. It's not. I'm amazed at how fast I can paint these. Put it that way. I'm really chuffed with myself. What else did I work on? Oh yeah, so I went from Zulus to something I really wasn't planning, and it's a Space Marine dreadnought.
I can see that it's someone
if Ridley Scott was there.
Oh god.
The reason for this is I painted this in 2010. In fact, this was the first thing I painted after recovering from 2 broken arms. I went out and I thought I'm going to buy something nice to paint. So I painted it, and I did nothing with it. It was too clean though. It was really cleanly painted.
You had 2 broken arms. Did you feel that you identified with the dreadnought and the chap that was in it?
Yes. That was 14 years ago. Horrific times. But I just did it proper clean paint job, and then I was looking at Xenos Rampant again this week, and I remembered I had this in the shelf of sort of abandoned projects. So I just went round. I give it some weathering, some battle damage. I used a pin vise to put some bullet holes in it. I put it on a cork base. It was just something different, and I'm also now doing the Rhino as well. I've got a proper old school Rhino that I'm working on.
I've seen a lot of people doing Ultra Beams. I assume that's because of the Space Marine video game release. Which I've heard a lot of good stuff about.
That dreadnought was my own homebrew chapter called the Emperor's Light. When I used to be able to paint white helmets and faces. Can't do that anymore.
I got that book.
Yeah.
So it is this one. It is The Anatomy of the Zulu Army by Ian Knight, who's obviously the authority on anything to do with the Zulu War, from Shaka to Quechua. It's on the Naval and Military Press. It's $2.99 at the minute. It's 80% off. So if you head over there and just type in Zulu, you'll get. They've got some great bits, but it's awesome. It really is, and it does. This is part of the problem. It makes you. You read all this stuff, and then if you look at something like Black Powder, and you see very abstractly the Zulu have essentially got very, very little in the way of detail. But with a system like Black Powder, it's very easy to add that in.
Yeah.
So you could really, a bit like with the Wars of the Roses, what I've done with the commanders to give them a little bit more personality by buffing some of their units. I think you could really do that if you do like people like Umbellini and stuff. You could like say, well, because he was really good at guerrilla warfare, maybe like one of the Zulu units can either like deploy forward or something, or they're stubborn, stuff like that. So I really recommend checking it out. Thank you, Paul, because well, not thank you. Well, I mean, you made me spend money. You made me spend $2.99. It's one of those cases where the shipping was going to be more than the book.
All right, yeah.
So I had to go and buy more books to make it worthwhile. So, it's really, really cool.
The wargaming way. I actually fell over in the snow and managed to fracture both my elbows. It was horrific, and I was 6 weeks off work, and it was pure boredom because Flesh could get any tips of painting. I couldn't do anything. I learned how to make a cheese and ham toasty with one hand. That was what I got out of 6 weeks of having fractured elbows. It was horrific. But I've also been adding, this scenery project.
Your table
mat one. Yeah. So I've added 2 more bases.
Oh man, wow!
I completed those. They're so time consuming that I don't know how many hours I've actually put into making these.
But they look awesome.
Thank you. It's just horrifically long, and adding that static grass is the most tedious thing I think I've ever done.
Are you using an applicator, or are you just putting it down by hand?
PVA and plonk it on, and because I generally wear black t-shirts, then having to remove half a ton of flock from my t-shirt. So that's one of the pieces there. That's meant to be what a one-piece model. So that the bit on the right is meant to go on top.
Oh right, yeah.
But I thought it'd be a bit too high. So what I did was I put I carved some sprue into bricks and added them to the top of the biggest piece, and then left that on the ground. You can't really tell.
No. It all blends together really, really well.
And this is the this is the ruined temple so far.
Oh, I mean, that looks awesome. What kind of room? What is that? Is that about? Was it 1.5 by 2?
It'll be 28. So that's 28. So that's about just under 2 feet by just under. So that'd be a foot, just over a foot. So it's actually 28, but about 50 centimeters by 40 centimeters. So
that does look really cool.
It's again, it's just so time consuming. I never realized. What I want to add though is what I want to pick up next is wrong one. Is that the ramshackle, another ruined, collapsed church by Renedra?
Yeah.
That's what could be my next one. I'm gonna add that. I think that'll look quite good.
Yeah, that will. I thought I had a spare one, or did I? Did I put it in last year's raffle? I might have put it in last year's raffle.
I was so close when I was in the NatTac convention in February. I actually had it in my hands. I was so close to pick it up, and I thought, I'll probably never use it. But I will get around to buying one. Cheers, Don. It started off just me renovating that old the ruined farmhouse by Warlord, and it's just got out of hand. I've done 7 bases. I've got 5 more to go, but I'm running out of space to actually store them. So it's been a really cool project, and occasionally, I mean, it was like last year when I worked on that Space Weirdo scenery. I'm not a big fan of doing scenery. Once I get a project that I like, I really enjoy it. Or those 2 I did. I think I spent nearly 3 hours dry brushing. It's just awful. But I'm glad they're done and out of the way. Right, so that's what we've been up to. Cheers, David. Much appreciated.
That's taken nearly an hour.
I know. Right, let's crack on. Let's crack on with the main thing. So we're talking about the benefits of the hobby in regards to your well-being. Now, the reason this came about was a couple of weeks back. I had a really, really busy day in work. I was knackered, and I work here, so sometimes I'm here for hours. And I sat down about sort of 6:30, and I was working on some of that scenery. And next thing I knew, it was like 10:10, and I didn't know where the time had gone, but I felt so much better just for concentration on something like that. Listen to music, and it got me thinking about what do people get from the hobby that promotes sort of their own well-being. Because at the moment there is this big push, especially where I work anyway, that focuses on your well-being, so your mental well-being, your physical well-being. Taking breaks, just occupying, doing different things to de-stress, or generally your overall well-being. What does the hobby bring for you? So, in a nutshell, what would you say is the biggest benefit to your well-being? What do you take from the hobby?
Me. I feel like Dom here, isn't it? I mean, so I relax. It's my way of relaxing. I don't find video games relaxing anymore. Quite the opposite, actually. I find them frustrating. They make me angry. Films and TV, I don't find particularly relaxing either at the minute. I struggle to find films to watch at the moment. I'm having I used to be able to watch anything. I would watch anything. I can't seem to do that anymore. Over the last year and a bit, this is where I relax. This is what I do, whether it's researching, painting, or making a video. I think that's because I do like to consider myself a creative person, whether that's through doing TTRPGs, which I did for a long time, wargaming scenarios, to channel. And it's a way for me to, do something creative. If I wasn't doing this, I guess I'd probably try. I used to draw a lot. I haven't drawn probably for years now, or painting or something like that. I don't know, but it relaxes me, gives me a nice sense of achievement. And as I know a few people do, in the chat, I run my own business. So it's very, very hard to switch off. And as you said, there's a big push at the moment for people to switch off. And so many people bring their work problems home with them, whether they're employer or employee. They will take their, people will fret about work and they'll worry about situations or in my case, you're sitting there going, oh God, I'm responsible for, a dozen people, myself and my business partner, and there's sometimes I have to work, longer than our hours. I don't really have hours. You work until it's done. If it's not done, you've got to sort it out. It's on you. So I find this relaxing and I get a lot of enjoyment. But because I enjoy things like research, I feel like I'm actually contributing. So I feel like, because in my job I contribute to reports and I contribute to studies and to research. But weirdly, through wargaming, I feel like especially now, I actually really feel like I'm contributing to the community. And it's a community that, this sounds so sappy, but a community that I love. I really do.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that because I've got the channel. That's just an extension of my hobby. But doing things like the stuff with the Wars of the Roses, or when in the battle reports, just showing different ways to play, or just showing that you don't, yes, this is a good system, but you don't have to do this, or different ways of doing things. And again, I'm quite lucky because I've got a good group of people to game with, round here. I will just say, actually, something just popped into my brain when I went to go and talk to John Stallard. I just said, he sort of, which channel are you? Because I only know like channel names. And I went, oh, Seventh. Is it Seventh Son? And I said, yeah. He goes, oh, I love to channel. Where's your wife? And I was like, oh, she's at home. And then I sat there going, well, does he mean Robin? I meant to say that earlier. That made me chuckle. But no, I actually had a very nice conversation with him actually about some of the battles. But I just feel like I'm contributing to something, and that's what I get out of it. I wouldn't say that I find, is it de-stress? I know some things are stressful to do with the channel, like when you're building a rocket. That's really stressful. And I don't know about you, but I have very set ideas sometimes in my head of what I want to achieve and how I want something to look. And,
yeah, absolutely.
And sometimes getting there can be a bit of a journey. But genuinely, I just get I have quite a big. It's probably not one of the best traits to have, but I have quite a bit of sense of pride on what I achieve in here, and I enjoy it. I've gone past those sort of periods that we've talked about where you kind of really pressure yourself to to produce stuff because everyone else is. We kind of go through these periods of doing that, and I came out the other side. I know I'm just going to paint what I want when I want, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'd say this is my primary way of relaxing, because I don't find other things sort of more relaxing. Like I used to go to a lot of gigs. I haven't been to a gig since February 2020. But I will be buying Iron Maiden tickets.
Oh, so yeah, I
will be buying Iron Maiden tickets this week, especially because it's from Killers to Fear of the Dark. Like that's just going to be immense. Yeah, and also they've done a very cool thing. They've basically done VAT to dynamic pricing.
All right,
which, like, obviously all these bands are like, nope, we're not doing that. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's my way of relaxing at the end of the day. This is my chosen way to do it. Some people go to the gym. Some people play video games. Some people, I can't think of other things that they do.
See, I used to play it. I mean, I still play video games now, but nowhere near as much as I used to. And I generally, you don't get the only game that makes me angry playing video games is the Dark Souls game, because I am the world's worst Dark Souls player. I am horrifically and comically bad at at those games, so I don't even bother. But yeah, like you said, for me, it's sometimes if I'm having a busy day, I can't wait to sort of 6:30. Everything's done, finished for the day. Laptops off, phones off, no more work. And I can just sit for 3 or 4 hours, music on, and just sometimes I'm sure it's not only me that does it. I sometimes I lose myself in what I'm doing, and I just you're that focused and that, but it's not like a stressful focus. It's just being able to, like you say, create. I think that for me, it's the creativity as well. It's having that end product, saying that I made this, I built this, I painted this.
Is it just a bit like when someone says they lose themselves in a good book? You know, you sometimes you just lose track. You know, you're so engrossed in what you're doing and what you're creating or reading about that you just lose all track of time. I do regularly. I get told off about it when I eventually come upstairs. It's like we were going to watch something. Were we? I forgot.
No, I know my better half. She's like, how can you sit for that long just painting? Well, I can. So if I have a day off, I can on some days off I can start painting at sort of 8:30 in the morning, and just with breaks stuff, but finish sort of 5, 5:30. It's like a full work day of painting.
That sounds
but
awesome.
I don't know. It just trying to explain it centers me. If I've had like a really busy day, I think it relaxes me. My brain can sort of switch off, and that's why I do a lot of kit bashing. I think kit bashing for me is a great way of focusing that creativity.
Yeah,
just looking for the different bits and pieces, and the research as well. I mean, how many times have you sort of casually flicked through a book, and an hour later you're still reading that book, or you find out. I mean, the worst for me is sort of regiment or battles from World War II, and then you go down that rabbit hole on the internet, and you've got about 1 million different tabs up at the top, and you're thinking, I only came on here to look at one thing. But again, that to me, just it's you can immerse yourself so much in that side of the hobby.
I've just started because I do that. I just started printing things because I can never find stuff again. You'll read some anecdote about, for example, just some random War of the Roses Lord, and you'll find it on his website, and you'll never find it again. So I've just had to start printing things. So I've got this this folder of just random bits of paper that I've printed, especially with the Zulu War as well, because there's so many diaries and things. The history chap, he came on a podcast a while ago. He did a video Thursday, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday last week, about the only prisoner of war.
Yes.
His story. It's really good. Or it's a case of was he or wasn't he, and the guy didn't think that someone might actually go and ask the Zulus like what happened. It's really fascinating. But so I've started printing things. So like when you say going down these rabbit holes, I find it really enjoyable.
I find it enjoyable. There was one that was that Burma project that I abandoned a Gibraltar.
Yeah.
I literally spent like 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon, just going through so much. I thought once I was finished, I was like, where's my afternoon gone? I didn't get any, no painting, just sort of the research side of things. I think in this, I'm going to sound really old now, but in this day and age, I think you need that time. You do need that time, and I think I'm grateful that our hobby. It's mentioned on a comment. I've started quite a few comments that I'm gonna go through later. But one of them, I think it was Carl, said there's so many different aspects or facets to our hobby that no matter what you're doing, there's always something. Whether you're painting, whether you're building, kit bashing, whether you're hanging out with your friends, whether you're going to a gaming day, whether you're actually rolling dice, doing the research, there's so many things that make up the hobby, and you can pick and choose. I mean, you may not be in the mood for painting. You might want to just sit down, like with a book, or I know. Sometimes if I don't want to paint, I just stick things together. I just kit bash. It's a great way of it. It just relaxes me, just seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work, especially from doing stuff for like Space Weirdos or the Doomed. It's just a really, for me, it's a creative outlet to just sometimes I have a habit of my brain can't switch off from sort of work mode. So by doing something like that, where I just completely forget about normal day-to-day stuff and just paint and just build or read, I think it just goes it's a great deal. It goes a long way in making sure you don't get that burnout. I mean, again, there was the hobby burnout I had earlier this year, and I don't know where that came from, but it was sort of the opposite. That the hobby stressed me out. Picking up a paintbrush stressed me out. I couldn't even look at anything. I couldn't do anything. I just lost all interest. Now I'm still trying to work out what did that. Whether it was was I spending too much time in the hobby, which I think sometimes if you this is why I would hate to do it sort of full time. It will always only ever be a hobby for me, because I think that way lies not a good place.
No, it can go wrong. I think the pressure. I think you've kind of got the right balance going.
Yeah, and even with things like with having the channel, even video editing, I find that relaxing. I find it just calming, and trying new techniques with the software. Again, it's just a sort of an additional element to the hobby that you can pick and choose, and there's always something to keep you occupied. There's always something to allow you to de-stress or take a few hours out from normal day-to-day stuff. It's like when they say people who are struggling just spend an hour or even half an hour just doing something. I think even just that, focusing on that simple half an hour is beneficial. I mean that's how I got over that hobby burnout. I just worked on stuff that I knew I'd enjoy. I wasn't doing sort of 3 or 4 hour sessions. I was working sort of 15-20 minutes here and there. I think that really helped. But for me, it's that whole me time. Much I think we all require that me time, that solitude.
Yeah.
But again, on the flip side, there's the social aspect of it. I mean, a good example is CrackCon. I've said from the very first CrackCon that we did, and it was after we'd just come out of a particularly crappy period. After lockdown, and I always said seeing so many happy people just smiling and rolling dice again. It really made sort of the hobby and the channel and the podcast just worthwhile, and it be honest, it made me feel good. It made me feel really happy that we're hanging out with these people we'd never met before. We only knew the majority of them.
Yeah. Well, we hadn't met, had you?
We hadn't met, no. Just screen names on a YouTube podcast. But I went something like that as well. I think I went away feeling so enthusiastic. Just a day spent rolling dice with people, just chatting with people you've never met before. For me, it was such a benefit. I just enjoyed, and I do that with every CrackCon. I always come away with new ideas. I feel it's like I feel enriched. I feel just focused. Having spent that time with people playing a whole myriad of games, having conversations, new projects, people asking you for advice on painting or modeling, what have you. It just goes a long way, and that's why I'm really looking forward to CrackCon again this year. I can't believe it's been 11 months.
I know. It's
terrifyingly flown by. But for me, what do I get from the hobby? I think it's just relaxation. It's that switching off, and like you mentioned before, it's about the community as well. I feel a part of something, and you get contacted by people you'd never met before, never heard of, and you send me message on Instagram or through the channel, and it's that enthusiasm. There's people out there like you that enjoy the hobbies, that enjoy the painting, enjoy the modelling, and that's I can honestly that's what I get from it. It just for me it relaxes me, and I just feel a lot better for being in the hobby,
for doing it.
Yeah. That's why when I had that burnout and I was costing up my bolt action armies for the for potentially selling them. I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't part of the community. I'd probably just go back to playing video games, like hours and hours and hours of video games, which I don't want to do, especially not if it's Dark Souls, because that wouldn't be good for my brain at all. I mean, it's just not good for me at all. Right, crikey, we're almost at 9:10.
Is it?
Yes.
See, you're doing something you love, and time goes.
It's true. It's true. I always find Monday nights fly by really, really quickly. Have we got news?
Yep, we have news. There's news.
Right. I shall do the little jingle, and then Martin will show you the news because I haven't got any. So.
I need like
right.
Actually, these are just ragged staff designs, but this is the this is the list I take with me. Look, it's covered in crap. Look, and this is the list I have with me on site, and I keep it in my pocket. And all of these are just ideas and things. There's a piece of biscuit. Site plans. So this is a site plan for a church, and then on the back of it, there's ideas for like this. This was like Death of Clifford. Check something. Can't remember what I've written there. Right. Anyway, so let's have a look. So yeah, there is some news. So I've already done the ghouls, so I won't do those again. But on the same kind of trajectory, there's been another preview from Wargames Atlantic. Remember, next week we have Charlie from Wargames Atlantic coming on over, and we'll be on Dom's channel, so we can quiz him on these. But they've previewed more of their 10 mil Agincourt, and I just realised what a mistake it was putting that image because you can't see shit because they're 10 mil. These are actually at scale. So what you can see on here is a real mixture of mounted men-at-arms, foot knights, French and English, longbowmen. If you look in the bottom right, you've got crossbowmen with pavesses down there. I'm curious about a couple of the choices they've made, but obviously this is still early days at the moment. You can see with the archers, you get the stakes to put in the ground.
Yes, I noticed that.
Archers. It's an interesting set. Lots of casualties as well, but like they did with the samurai. So this will, I think, pique a lot of people's interest. And again, just because it's Agincourt doesn't, it will do for the whole of that later period of the I say later, mid part of the 100 Years' War. So that would be cool. Who knows? It'll be really interesting to see where this one goes. So that is on the way. On that note, if you guys have got questions for Wargames Atlantic, when Dom puts the post up, just post them away. What we'll do is we'll star them, because I think it's going to be a really interesting company to talk to, because they have this very different approach to development and releasing, don't they? It's more of I think initially it looked quite scattergun, but actually I think there is method behind everything that they're doing.
I've got a theory they don't actually sleep ever.
That's probably a good one, actually.
That's my theory. They don't sleep.
There's been an update. So Midgard, the historical game, which is going to be published by Rights-Wise. I can't even say this. Is it Rights-Wise? Rice-Wise?
Rice-Wise.
Rice, right?
Right.
By the offshoot thing that the
Yeah.
the largest. That is on the way. There's been a big update. There's even some example battle reports out for both if you're using it for historicals or
Ooh.
fantasy. So that is coming on the way. Dom did show these off, but he didn't show off the painted ones. So here are the duelists that are out from Perry Miniatures, which just look phenomenal, don't they? That's right. Would you paint up something like that as a diorama? Could you do that? Bring yourself to do that? I mean, he is a really hussar. Like that is very cool. No.
They would drive me to utter despair.
That is very, very nice though. I hope so. We don't. I know we get accused sometimes of not looking at the smaller scales, but I've done. That's the first 28s I've done. I've done 15s. I've done 10s.
Yep.
How about some 3mm?
Oh.
So these are So we have ancients here, and I've just forgotten the name of the company. 2 seconds.
They're 3mm.
They are 3mm. Oh no, don't worry. You've also got the Romans. You also have the Romans. So this is Micro World Games 3mm ancients. Okay, so these are essentially. This was purchased from Magister Militum, and there's a core. There's like basically you can now get the core of some armies on there. So you got Rome. There's Romans, Roman auxiliaries, Celtic peoples, Carthaginians, and that. So if you want to, if 6mm too chunky, get your 3mm. They have got some chariots and stuff on there as well. So take a look at that. No, but they did do the shield bosses. They've done the faces, for Christ's sake.
No, that's it. That is serious. Do you know what? I'd love to see Paul Mackay have a go at these.
It does. The one thing on that does make me laugh is obviously you've got the standard there, but surely if you look at the size of the man, isn't that like the size of a single bed?
Yes.
It's but yeah. How about that? How about that then? Anyone fancy some 3mm?
Check if we can get Dom involved in 3mm figures.
I think he'd give it a go. No, he wouldn't. We should give him a choice. Like, do you want to do 3mm or do you want to, I don't know, paint something, turn it something? Think he'd do it?
I don't know.
Now this one is very cool. So Ragnarok Miniatures, who produced these awesome fantasy miniatures, and I think they're used you can buy them through Gripping Beasts, and they use them for Age of Magic. They've got their troll Kickstarter up, and the trolls look awesome. There's 4 different sets of 4s for trolls. So you've kind of got these ones that look more like Norwegian kind of inspired look of trolls.
Yes.
You've got ones that essentially look like Lord of the Rings style Uruks, which are really nice. And if I'm going to he's got some Uruks, actually some Uruk orcs, and you got these kind of more primal looking ones, like troglodyte ones, and then you got some that look like they're straight out of a horror film. So his Kickstarter is going. It's funded. It's got about 10 days left on it, but they are cracking. I think you can get, 16 quid gets no, or is it 30? I think 32 quid gets you like a whole bunch of these, and you can select or you can mix and match them and all sorts. But they're all metal as well. They are chunky pieces. They are chunky pieces.
Like you said, I like the mix of sort of looks.
Yeah.
Because I watched Troll Hunter the other week.
That's a great.
It's a great film. And some of them remind me of the trolls from that. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. No, those are really, really nice. Sorry, so I'm just reading a couple of the comments as they come in. Now, some big news from GW, which I am going to post. I'm going to share because I know we don't always do some GW stuff, but with the upcoming, you can switch off, Steve. This is about Lord of the Rings. With the upcoming release of the new War of the Rohirrim animated film, they're doing this new edition of the Middle Earth strategy battle game, which I'm really excited about because I think it's a really good system. I actually think it's the best game that GW produced. But they put this up. This is the new starter set, which will be available soon. There is no idea on price, but this is the Battle for Edoras. You're going to get. I'm assuming it's essentially a siege game, because why would you have the riders of Rohan without their horses? But you're going to get the rules manual, sort of a campaign book, bunch of dice, 3x3 playmat, those Rohan houses, which are plastic, 56 miniatures, which includes this chap who is one of the princes of Rohan, Haleth. You've got this one called Hammer. So I assume they're going to have I don't know if they're going to have a big part in the film. I know what happens to them in sort of the actual Tolkien story, so I don't know how big a part they're going to have. We already showed off one, which I know people were a little bit, because these are designed based on an anime. So they're now trying to, I think they're bridging that gap between anime and reality, if that makes sense, if you normal proportions. But one of the figure they released from Wolf, trademark or whatever it is, goes straight after his name that everyone keeps putting. There you go, Wolf. The horse looked a bit odd. Now this is the other evil commander, and I really like this model, that mounted model. I really like that model. He does look like every anime villain ever. But that horse looks like a proper chunky Shire horse.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like how chunky that horse is. I do. I really like that model. I can see that getting used in a lot of things.
Do you think that wouldn't look at a place in a Bushido warband?
Yeah. I just think it looks really sound. I really do like that horse. And the model on it's nice.
Yeah.
I just like the horse because it's a massive fucking horse. They are not small. I still think we had this. I can't remember if we did it on here. We were talking about it in the pub. No, it was one of my friends who was the bravest person in history. Like if you know, and everyone immediately say things like, "Oh, I don't know, like Wellington or whatever," so that. And I said, no, it's the first person that ever chose to sit on a horse because he clearly died. And then someone else was watching and went, "We'll try."
I'll have a go at that. Oh yes.
yeah. So not only that, something people have been asking for a long time is for them to start redesigning some of those plastic kits, or just update the plastic kits that the Perrys did all that time ago, and they have. So these are the new plastic Rohan warriors. Now they don't look that dissimilar from the current ones, but they have been updated. I think they're a bit bigger. The poses are, because obviously these have been done probably in CAD, and they just. I think they've kept the same design, but it's a bit weird when you look at these, because these are based on the Perrys, who based their designs on people, whereas these are based on an anime.
Right.
So your references, I think, maybe it's just me. I think you can kind of tell. I don't mind it. I like anime. Well, some, but not that much. Two. I am interested, but they've also done the Dunlendings as well. So it's an all plastic release, and to actually put the money in. Okay, I know it's Games Workshop, right? We were talking a different level of money here. They have a ridiculous amount of money, and obviously they're licensed through New Line. Doing this, well, it's not New Line Cinema anymore, it's Warner Brothers. Putting this out, they probably had to try and keep the license as well. I don't want to be a cynic, but I'm guessing if they don't release stuff for a certain amount of time, they lose the license, and it's quite a license to hold. So to actually get plastic kits done, because they've just been relying on the older kits to do the armies, and they've just been releasing heroes or doing these limited releases of old metals in what do you call it? Not what's the red in the Forge World kind of resiny stuff. So I think it's I'm potentially interested in this because I've got the Pelennor Field set. I enjoy this game. I have no idea what this is going to cost, so let's not even go down that route yet. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think there's a lot of love for the Middle-earth strategy battle game out there. Probably amongst the historical community, I'd probably say maybe that there's probably more love for that than there is 40k and things like that. I think people, because I always said to Dom, because he said he always wanted to do something fantasy, but he couldn't relate to us. So why not? That's it, doing Rohan or something like that. It's essentially just Saxons. There's no beasts or anything like that to do. Anyway, yeah, that was the news. Other than to say, of course, CrackCon is fast approaching. So I think we've got more people sort of like booking up games and tables. If you remember, if you haven't booked yourself in for the curry and you want to come, have a look at the Facebook group, or just send us a message and we'll get Hayley to add you onto the list. It's pay on arrival. You don't have to pay up front. It's £20.95. All you can eat. Everyone is very full and feels very sick afterwards, which is amazing. Why do the majority of Dunland things look like old geezers? They're just from up north. Just from up north. But yeah, it's sorry, Robin's just said going to war on an animal scared of its own shadow, a tree. It's absolutely fine for an hour in clouds. Absolutely bog. Absolutely, yeah, completely. So yeah, all of that's on there. The dice orders are in there, all over there. I've been moving them into different bags. It's like looking like it'd be like the world's worst. I've been cutting the dice. I don't use a credit card, like that. Move them to one side, push them into a bag. So yeah, I think things are pretty much ready to go.
Like I said, I can't believe it's only 4 weeks away.
I know.
Frightening is what it is. It's frightening. But I am looking forward to the trip out on Saturday for a nice curry. Yeah,
no worries. Well, anyway, yeah, that's the news. That's all I got.
See what, I'm still blown away by those 3 mil figures though.
I know. You could put them on a table in front of some 28 mils and they'd be like the playing pieces.
Yeah. I still always try and get Dom interested. In some way, shape, or form. Yeah. 4 weeks. We've still got to sort out train tickets. I only booked my hotel today. For some reason I thought I'd done it weeks ago, and I hadn't. I just forgot.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I've got a few things to sort out and book as well. I've really got to.
The joys of CrackCon.
I'm just catching up on some of these comments. I really don't know what to say.
No, I don't. No. Especially Don's advice for surviving his trip to this green and hallowed land. I'm
going to reply to Osmondsy here because Steve won't give a shit about this. I'm actually pleased it's animated, and I want them to do more animated. It's a conversation for another time, but I think animation on some of these franchises is actually the way to go. I think sometimes I think animations is actually a really good way to go for some of it, and I do think so for Tolkien, because there's a lot to cover, and I think animations are. You haven't got to worry about people getting really old.
Well, there is that, yeah. I had to explain the other week to somebody at work that I didn't like Lord of the Rings because they naturally assumed that I did. And I was like, let me dispel that myth right now. No. And yeah, it's some people. It's like it's difficult to comprehend. They can't take it in.
But it's I don't know. I probably can't actually talk about that. No, I can't because. No, I know what you mean. There's something I mean, even for wargaming, I don't like Harry Potter, and the people that I work with sort of don't understand why, and I'll give them quite a long monologue about why I don't like Harry Potter. But no, I think it's people just assume you do. I mean, I do. I assumed you did until I didn't actually assume you did until you sort of announced that you didn't on that stream.
Yeah, people were like people. It felt like an invasion of the body snatchers.
Well, especially because even Dom started laying into you. That was
I mean, to be fair, I've given it a go. I read them when I was.
Well, at least you tried. Yeah,
I tried. It just doesn't. It doesn't grip me. There's nothing in there that I much prefer the Dragonlance books. I grew up reading Dragonlance.
Did you watch the animated film of Dragonlance?
No, I didn't.
Sutherland doing it? No, okay.
No.
You're missing out. It's an experience.
First it was German culture and Americans. Now you don't like Lord of the Rings. How much do you expect? How much more do you expect me to take?
Were you not here for that, Dodd? Was that too early? Was that really early years?
No, it was only last year. Was that only last year? Yeah, Red Step. I'm with you, Steve. I fell asleep in all 3 films. I mean, that's why Steve doesn't like the Smiths. With the films, this is really weird. I own the films. I don't know who's got them now, but I own all 3. I've not seen them for the best part of probably 18 years. I don't know who I lent them to. So I did watch the films. But again, I just didn't find them interesting. It's just
it's hard. I mean, I love the Tolkien sort of. I don't want to use the word universe. That's a crap word. But the whole mythos, like the stuff about the First Age, and I really enjoy those tales. And part of me really wants them to make those, but I'd rather they did them animated and stretched it out over a period of time, so we don't kind of get what's happening at the minute on Amazon, where they kind of squash everything into one thing. But I also accept that adaptations are going to be different from any medium, and okay, sometimes, but that doesn't mean you can't have a crap adaptation. But there is going to be stuff changed, like Peter Jackson. Like, it's quite funny watching all these people sort of raving about the one that Amazon are doing, and then going on about Peter Jackson. Well, Peter Jackson did change a lot of stuff. If you want, I mean, but the films, in my opinion, were still really, really good because they were really, really well made. That the other thing, the Amazon stuff isn't necessarily bad because they changed lots of stuff. It's bad because it's just I just don't enjoy it. See, I don't like that. I don't like the Amazon show, but it's not because I have this kind of unfettered rage towards it because of the stuff they change. I just don't like it. I just don't think it's very good. I just bored. I fell asleep in every single episode. I watched all of the first season, bar the last episode, because I'd lost the will to live. I fell asleep in every single episode. I fell asleep in every single episode of the Book of Boba Fett because I was like, Boba Fett. I'm gonna, it's Boba Fett. Yeah. And I fell asleep in every single episode of that.
There's just certain things that just don't. It's like Game of Thrones. I mean, I've got the first season. I tried it on DVD. I think I fell asleep during a couple of those episodes. I thought I've got better things to do in my time than watch direct like this.
Well, that's. Do you know what made? I know we kind of got a bit off topic here, but for my well-being, actually no, it's part of well-being.
It is part of well-being.
I used to watch. We used to watch lots of series and watch them. So we'd watch things like what do we have going? Like, I don't know, 24, Lost, Walking Dead, and you kind of like, as they started to go really downhill, and some of them went downhill very quickly.
Yeah,
you kind of stuck with them because you felt like you had to. And I think it was Walking Dead that kind of put myself through. I really enjoyed the first 3 seasons of Walking Dead, and then I read the comics and I enjoyed the comics and I accepted that things were different. That was fine. And no, Steve, nothing does beat Space Above and Beyond, and that is an amazing series.
As
the 58th Wildcards. That was one of my favorite. I've got that on DVD somewhere. I love that.
Babylon 5.
I can't stand Babylon 5. I cannot stand Babylon 5. I hate Babylon 5. I know. But Space Above and Beyond. The ending of Space Above and Beyond. I think I was about 12 when that came out, and that traumatized me because they just had to end it and they like kill most of them off. I sit there going, hang on a minute, what's going on? No, that was awesome, especially the episode where they had the. That's how I found out who Manfred von Richthofen was, because they had this episode where, did you ever watch it, Space Above and Beyond?
No.
So it was by the guy that created the X-Files, Chris Carter, and it's near future, we're fighting aliens in space, but it was kind of done in kind of more, I hate this, in a realistic kind of way. It's a bit weird.
Wait. I think I saw a few, was it sort of, when was it out? Was it mid-90s?
95, yeah, 95, 96. Yeah.
I think I saw a few episodes of it.
Yeah, and then they had this enemy, Ace of Aces, and they called him, because the aliens were called Chigs in it. And they called the enemy Ace of Aces Chiggy von Richthofen, and that's how I found out who Manfred von Richthofen was. So I was like, I'm gonna go read it up. So but that was cool. But
good shout from Earthman Brick on Lex. That's a cracking sci-fi.
I've never watched it.
Lex,
I've never watched it. No. I can't even remember how we got onto all of this.
No. Let's look at some comments from people on the subject of well, not
Oh no,
your-
Wellbeing. No, Wellbeing.
Yes,
That
yeah,
was
Wellbeing.
it. It was just basically I took the decision with Walking Dead. It got to the I'm like, this isn't doing anything for me. I'm
Just
wasting
stop, yeah.
an hour a week or whatever, or every if you're watching this crap, it's not for me. And once I went cold turkey on one series, I can start. You know, I basically give most series now 3 or 4 episodes to impress me, and if they die, I just don't watch them now.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
yeah.
it's an investment, isn't it? It's an investment in time. If it's going to turn out complete crap, you feel robbed. It's like watching a bad film. You feel robbed.
Yeah.
Robbed time.
Hates Babylon 5. No, I don't actively hate it. Like I think I said I hated it. There was it's like I don't want to expend that much energy in thinking about it. It just
Oh,
no.
The Shadow Wars in Babylon 5. Oh, brilliant! Some fantastic characters.
Do you like Star Trek?
I like the original. I like Next Gen, and I like Deep Space Nine.
Okay, yeah, I like Deep Space Nine. That was the
can't be doing then all the other ones. But yeah, I much prefer Next Generation. If I had to choose, I would go for Next Generation.
Are you a Picard man, not a Kirk?
I'm more Picard. But I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself an authority on Star. I like Star Trek, but I'm not like some kind of encyclopedia. My mate, he likes Star Trek. He does Star Trek role play. He's just
my friend is I can properly incense him very, very quickly. Especially if I start going on about Star Wars compared to Star Trek, about how I'll say like Star Wars is better, just to watch him get really, really angry, really, really angry.
It reminds me of Randall talking about Lord of the Rings and the Star Wars trilogy.
That's one of my That's one of my favorite pieces. What does he say? I made fun of the Lord of the Rings so bad I made someone puke.
Lots of walking. Right, so let's see what people in the chat have been saying. So, Don, the wargaming hobby gives me lots of opportunities to argue with my wife. Really keeps my blood moving. Well, you take what you can from it. David, painting and modeling activities help clear the head after a stressful day. They brought out colouring books for my they you know about my colouring book, don't you?
The what? What?
I don't do it very often, but I've got a. I'm not even gonna mention it. I might, I've got a certain colouring book involving certain cereal types.
Oh, sorry. Haley has a colouring book. Haley has a colouring book. She's probably not going to like me for saying that, but sorry, I've just got it. So,
yes,
okay.
I'll dig out. I find that.
Are you accurate? Do you go and look at pictures to get the accurate,
I've got an interest in that side of humanity, so I've got lots and lots of books about them. Yes, that's David. Hate painting, but I find researching and basing woeful Napoleonic minis very therapeutic. I can imagine. There's no painting of Napoleonics. Stress-free. That's probably the only. That's probably the most stressful part of the hobby for me. Is any time I decide to rather stupidly paint Napoleonics, I get stressed. John, I find the hobby gets me into a flow state. I can leave everything behind, start doing something. A couple of hours later, I'll look up feeling better about life. Absolutely. Is my camera frozen?
Yes. And now you're Ken.
Oh.
What's happened?
It's done that thing again where my camera has just sort of stopped working.
Why is our default picture? Oh, it's because it used to be his account, but it's Dom's account now. So okay, we'll have to see what's going on. It's
not working. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out and come back in. All right.
You're leaving me. I'm just going to go back talking about this. No. Have you turned it on?
It's on. It's on. It's just not working.
Well.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. There we are.
There we are. I'm not quite technical difficulties. Not quite sure what happened there. But yeah, I understand what John said. I think a good hobby session, get something done, especially when you've got something at the end of it that you've been working on for days or
Oh yeah,
what have you. I think that's it with those Zulus, getting those based up and seeing them all like that. It's just made it so much worthwhile.
It's the basing session, not the
Oh.
epic basing set. The epic basing session I did, where I had to do like however many bloody bases it was. But yeah, that was I find it debate where you sit down, you're like, I'm going to finish these tonight because I'm going to have them based.
Oh, I
you know,
love that.
yeah.
I actually find painting landscapes really therapeutic. I just enjoy painting them. It's just something completely out there that I wouldn't normally paint, and seeing them all, especially when I've finished sort of the 4 or 5 bases and they all look colourful, definitely does it for me. So Martin, most of my hobby time is spent painting, which I find therapeutic. Absolutely agree with you 1,000,000% now, Martin. Painting it is therapeutic. It's just something just really therapeutic about it. I just love it. Benjamin, getting home from work, sitting down with 100 minis to paint. I'm going to have to stop you there, Benjamin. That doesn't sound therapeutic. Starting a great audiobook and then paint shoes or belt buckles for the rest of the day. The best way to unstress. Yeah, your mileage may vary. Lionheart, for a long day at work, when I was sitting down painting, listening to things really makes me unwind and relieve stress. Yeah, also being part of a community to share my hobby with like-minded. Absolutely. I think it just so many different, like I mentioned earlier, so many aspects of it that you can pick and choose. I think we're seeing a theme here that it does allow people to relax.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so Carl mentioned it. The variety of things you can do with the hobby, gaming, painting, research, terrain. I mean, whatever mood you're in, there's always something to keep you active. There is. It's not like you can go, there's only building and painting. I don't feel like doing any. You can always find something to do. That's why I get myself on these scenery building projects that just seem to take over. David, creative outlet and something you have to focus on completely, allowing the brain to do all its filling in the background. Yes. I think creativity is, like you mentioned before, I think it's just a healthy thing to do. I think if you didn't have that, I know if I didn't have that sort of creative spark or zeal, I don't know what I'd do. I'd be thoroughly bored. I really would be. So, Mark, I also like that I can't find a film to watch to listen to a podcast, and painting some figures definitely distresses me. Yeah, absolutely. It does me as well. One from Tony. Wellbeing is an hour of calm focus in the day, which helps me balance the demands of my work. Unfortunately, I get to enjoy this most days. Again, that's something I'm lucky in that I do get that time. I generally work 8 till 4. So I've got that time. I've got no distractions, no responsibility, no kids, got nothing. I've barely got myself to look after. So I don't have those additional things that people have got.
Can I skip ahead to a comment that's just been put on that I think we need to address? James, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You're a wrong-un.
I painted 16 of those and wanted to punch holes in the walls.
Dude, you just, I like you, but
96
we need to have a chat.
Time.
We need to have a chat.
Blue coat, blue coat, blue coat, blue coat, blue coat, blue coat. Same figure.
Yeah. Well, now, yeah. I mean, let's go to a James Cuts therapy session. Here's a Landwehr model.
God, I'd be like, do you remember Saxondale with Steve Coogan?
Yeah.
That's what I'd be like. If I went to a session like that and somebody handed me Landwehr, I'd definitely do a Tommy Saxondale. Paul's painting helps with the mental and physical health, which has both been a nightmare since his accident. The research side is brilliant. I've learned so much. Yeah, I think the research definitely. There's, like I mentioned before, there's going down those rabbit holes. Do you remember that time when you started off something and you ended up that guy from the Wars of the Roses used a scythe?
Oh, that was the first Crusade.
Oh, no, that was the Crusade.
That was the Tafers, the crusading barefooted cannibals who basically flocked around this knight that they then called King Tafer, and he went into battle apparently mounted with a scythe, and then they ate people after the battle, and they were just armed with these kind of weird shields and clubs. And yeah, that was that was particularly. I still need to build them actually.
That's a rabbit hole and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, but then there was me straight away going, does anyone make models of these? But then you started to read about some like accounts, and you're a bit like, maybe not.
maybe not. Again, Dave said the social aspect of gaming has huge upsides to mental health too. Absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I'm quite a solitary creature, as people know. I'm not the most sociable of people, but crack on. Always enjoy it. Always when I can get to open days or conventions, I do always enjoy it. So it is good. I think there's something to be said for being around like-minded people, and just having those conversations, meeting people you never met before. Yeah, really, really good. So Cardboard Fortress, I like the distraction of painting. My work is generally about dealing with negatives, so it's nice to switch off and get the brushes out. Yeah, absolutely. Again, just agree with that 100%.
I could see that if you were in a what I imagine to be quite horrific in terms of something like a customer or a job where you're dealing with complaints like you used to deal with, like it's something where you're constantly getting battered by, I mean, I can tell you what, I mean, in my job, I can deal with some pretty rum people. Don't get me wrong. There are some brilliant people out there that I deal with, and fantastic people, but no developer wants archaeology, and there's varying levels of there's those that sort of accept it. And they're not happy it's there, but they accept it's there. And then there are those that think that I've gone there overnight and put it in the ground and then dug it up the next day to make work for myself. I mean, some of the things I could tell you that I've been essentially accused of, but absolutely there'll be days now I get home and I've just had someone essentially, tell and we all get it, no matter what profession you're in. Someone essentially will say to you that your job is pointless or worthless, and you're just like, why am I having to deal with this? Or so you get home and that's it. I get home once the kids are in bed and that. Just say to Haley, I'm going to go and paint. Sometimes I'll just sit in here and read, or and look at rule books and things like that, or set the 3D printer going and de-support some stuff. It's I definitely, I think if you're in a job where you're going to deal with a lot of crappy people, I mean, I'm lucky. It doesn't happen a lot, but yeah.
I'm quite grateful. What I do now is there's very little stress. But having worked a decade in complaints, yes, I can certainly testify to that. Johnny's hobby desk is next to his work desk. He'll often take 10 minutes and just leave work behind, do something hobby related. I do that on my break sometimes. I'll spend 10 minutes gluing something together, or applying a wash to just something. Andy spends more time researching than anything else. I think some people love that. I know Dom absolutely loves that, doesn't he? He loves his research.
Yeah.
He look at his Bruce's an Island. My God, he certainly threw himself into that. Yeah, the PCB community has been an awesome part of the hobby. It's been great meeting many of you and sharing some fun games and hobbies with people. Said equal-minded people, but yeah, it's true. I sometimes think about if I.
Steve?
Oh, not again! I thought
my you went for a second. No, you're okay. You're okay.
I think it might be the cable. I'm not quite sure. A bit nervous about coming over for Crack on 5. None of it's about meeting everyone. It's like how we get to travel around the land of devils. Land of devils that don't like Lord of the Rings and eat black pudding. That's
just don't start going on about liberty and all that, all this kind of stuff. You'll be fine. Or what was it? What was it? Dom calls you? What is it? Dom calls them? I can't remember now. Are we allowed to say? I can't remember. What is it Dom says? Is it just no? I can't remember what it is now. Oh, ungrateful colonials. That was it.
Oh yeah,
that was it.
So I mean, there's a big debate here about Space Above and Beyond and Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica.
No, God, hell no. That I get a lot of shit for that actually.
I didn't like the original. I didn't like the remake.
No,
I'm probably going to get a few contracts out on me for saying stuff like that. Sam, am I wearing a Cradle of Filth t-shirt? I am indeed wearing a Cradle of Filth t-shirt.
Do you like Cradle of Filth?
I love Cradle of Filth.
Oh, he only lives down the Danny Filth down the road.
Danny.
My friend Andy, his mum used to babysit him.
Oh. Let's go get some free tickets for Cradle Gig. Now I've listened to Cradle of Filth now since 25 years. I've been listening to Cradle of Filth.
I think didn't Cradle of Filth support Emperor on their first tour of like the UK or something like that? Imagine that as a line, like Emperor and then Cradle of Filth.
One band I've never got to see. I've got to see most of the bands I've wanted to see. Cradle still not much to see them, and I don't think I'll ever get to see REM anymore. So they were on my list.
Well, if Cradle of Filth do anything this way, I will let you know.
Brilliant. But yeah, no, it's a band I've liked for many years, and it's always good. I mean, the way they've evolved as a band as well. It's good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah. I tell you, who would really appreciate a Cradle of Filth ticket as Yorkshire Dragoon, Tim. I know he would really appreciate that.
Tim, we want you to listen to Cradle of Filth. Just Google a couple of random songs. They actually did an awesome cover version. They've done 2 awesome cover versions. One was Temptation by Heaven 17. But
I haven't listened to that.
But the greatest one ever was Devil Woman by Cliff Richard.
Oh my god, my dad used to listen to it. He said no.
No. I wonder, Tim, can you expand on that? You don't need to expand. Oh, dearie me. How can you stay like REM and not Tolkien? REM don't send me to sleep. That was a bit harsh, wasn't it?
I was expecting him to say, "How can you like REM and not like," and then say another band. I wasn't expecting the Tolkien kind of.
No. I was expecting how can you like REM and and not some of the other bands. Oh, Tim, no, absolutely check it out. It's brilliant. It's interesting. It's a bit different. It's definitely recommended.
I can imagine.
Oh my word! Yeah, I can't remember what album it's off.
If you just go into Google and type, if you go in.
Oh yeah, so just go to YouTube and put Cradle of Filth Temptation. And follow it up with Devil Woman, obviously. They'd also do an awesome cover version of "Hallowed Be Thy Name." Oh, that's brilliant.
What? I didn't know that.
No, they did do a cover version of that. They do another one. They do "Death Comes Ripping" by the Misfits. They've done quite a few covers.
Misfits for ages.
But yeah, they do "Hallowed Be Thy Name." I think that's on the special edition of Cruelty and the Beast. I think it's on the one of the extra tracks. Anyway, far too much Cradle talk. Let's look at some photographs of what the viewers have been
done, what people have been doing.
Yes, as I said, these are all posted from the Facebook group. If you aren't a member, womble across to the Facebook group, link in the description below. Answer some questions or something, and you'll get.
And we don't actually know when he's back, so the sooner you go and do it, the better. Although, actually, I've got to say, I have been checking. Most people, I've been checking. Yeah,
we've had a few dodgy ones recently that have involved further investigations.
Yes.
We don't want to get any more t-shirt malarkey. Shite. Yes. Right. So, starting off with Craig. These are brilliant. Look at these.
Oh, yes. They're Fireforge ones, aren't they? They are. It's really nice because a lot of what I've seen done with those plastic kits, I've seen some lovely, amazing work, but like almost army, batch painted armies, which look awesome. I hadn't really seen anyone who'd really gone to town and just done individual samurais yet. Yes. And that is very cool. Did Shogun? Did you watch Shogun?
No,
because that just like swept all the awards up at the Emmys.
Although
which,
last night I watched the Little Wars 4-player. Is it called Sword and Samurai? Now,
yeah,
from Shogun. Yeah. But I was very. I actually played Shogun. Crikey, would have been late teens.
Total War, the first one.
No, the board game.
Oh, okay.
Somebody lent it to me. I had a couple of games. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's called something different these days. So Dave's posted a game of 10mm Napoleonics.
Oh God, that looks awesome.
That does look good. I mean, I'm not a Naps fan, but I always say Nap battles, regardless of the scale, they always look really good. That looks like a cracking game.
Yep.
Thanks for posting that, Dave. Now, I mentioned it earlier. So Benjamin has been painting one or two things for CrackCon. And when I say one or two things, I mean that.
I mean, yeah.
His
table's not that big for CrackCon, so I'm joking. I can't remember how big it is actually. But
yeah, we'll pop you on a four. Cool. We'll pop you on a 4x4. See what happens.
Yeah, you'll be.
No,
fine.
that is tremendously impressive.
Yeah, lovely.
You don't do skirmish level painting, do you, Benjamin? I mean, when you did your Battle of Hastings followed by this, brilliant. There's actually the selection. I don't know why, but I've leaned in heavily towards Napoleonics for some reason. So we've got Edward, who's been painting up some British. I think they said the 29th Regiment of Foot. Nice. They're lovely. I love the mix of figures. You've got a dude with a kilt in there. He's got there's all kinds. Oh, look at that drummer. Oh God, I can't even imagine painting that.
I can't remember. I can't remember which group it is on. It might have been the Napoleonic Wargamer group. And some guy, because he was bored, and he said this is for no other reason than he could. He used gold leaf on the drum to get that. God. It looks awesome.
Yeah, I can imagine. Give me massive chest pains. But the yellow and red on that drummer is fantastic.
That looks so cool. Very nice work.
Some more Napoleonics from John. He's painted some French Hussars. They're lovely.
Lovely, but also chest pains.
Yeah, chest pains. Do you know what's really weird? When I was at loading these, I actually knew that they were French Napoleonic Hussars without looking at them.
What they need is an egg glaze.
Egg glaze.
That really said no. They are fantastic. Fantastic.
The next one is a game that Jeffrey posted. I can't remember what game it was, but it just fascinated me because it's based around Cthulhu and the Lovecraft, the whole Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah.
And we've got a
cool.
cultist coven meeting here, but they were rudely interrupted by the Canadian Mounted Police.
Mate, what all I can think about now is the Untouchables and that scene with the Mounties coming across the bridge. If Cthulhu was in the Untouchables, I mean, I like that film anyway, but if he was in the Untouchables,
Cthulhu makes everything better. It really does. But check out Jeffrey's post in the Facebook group. He's got more pictures on there. It looks like a fantastic game. It really does. Right, on to some more madness from Paul. He's been painting some more epic Gauls. I mean, I don't have the word.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah.
Just
I don't really know what.
I don't know what to say. I literally do not know what they look like. 28mm figures. They
lovely work.
He must. Did Paul? If you're in the chat, do you use magnifiers, or is your eyesight naturally that good? Because I think I've got. I wear glasses normally because I've got really crappy long sight, but up close I can see really quite well. But I think I'd even struggle with those. They would be, they'd stress me out as well. Neil has been doing some more of his American Civil War Union. They're lovely.
Yeah, really nice.
I love seeing Neil's updates on his American Civil War because he's been working on this for months and months and months. But they are really, really nice. Have you checked in with Dom about the shade of blue just to make sure you're both singing off the same hymn sheets? You don't want to incur the wrath. Phil's been working on some more 20mm, so here's some 20mm US stuff. I think he said he was using this as a jump off point for Chain of Command, but that's lovely. Okay. You wouldn't think they were 20mm, would you? They look 28mm. They really do. But yeah, again, always enjoy seeing Phil's updates on his 20mm stuff. I really need to get back to painting my 20mm Germans and British because I started those after CrackCon last year. It was Robin and James and a few others were like 20mm best scale in the world. I think that was in the Tudor bar.
Oh yeah. I remember you did actually have a big push on that, didn't you?
Yeah, you were trying to get me to drink Juice Forsyth in the Tudor bar.
Was it?
Yes. I think I was just. I don't know. I think I had one glass of red wine. I wasn't in the mood.
We were playing
that desert game.
Forbidden Desert. That game is amazing. Forbidden Desert. It just punishes you though. Absolutely, it just teaches you why life is cruel.
And why? Yeah, if you ever stranded in the desert with me, don't put me in charge of the water supply.
I mean, didn't we end? Yeah, no. I think we ended the suggestion that actually we just.
I just drank all the water. I didn't realize that was going to happen.
Just drank all the water in the first turn, and then by the end of it, the only water left would have been our own piss. So I couldn't get rid of it.
Some other turning miniatures from Sean. Look at those; they're brilliant.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Are they 15 mil, aren't they? Or are they 10?
I think we said they were 10.
Oh, right. Yeah. The detail's phenomenal, though. Yeah. Check out the turning miniature range. The early war, German and British. I think French might be coming as well. But it's just great seeing that the early war at that scale. You don't often get to see it.
Yeah, really nice.
Right. When Stephen posted these, I had a complete nostalgia trip back to the 90s. Yay, look at that. It's Bertrand the Brigand.
Oh, God. That's awesome.
Fun. I think he said he painted these in 1997.
What? Oh, Jesus, they are lovely.
They're brilliant. Again, so many memories of the original Bretonians, but awesomely painted. And last but not least, he's not posted in a while, but Tony's back working on his Napoleonics, and he's done a command base.
Very nice.
The guy on the right's a Voltigeur, isn't he?
Yes, well done. You are now one of them. You are now granted access to one of those Facebook groups.
I can tell by his epaulet thing because they're green and yellow.
All right, calm down.
Just flexing my Napoleonic knowledge. I don't know. I always remember because when I painted them, I hated painting the bright colours. Once again, massive thank you to everyone that continues to post up in the Facebook group on an hourly basis. Very, very, especially some of the stuff over the last week has just been phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, it's like the week before we had shitloads of games on there, which is always cool to see. And then it's kind of like everyone has their games and they go away and they're reinforcing because they need to paint more models. That was cool.
But again, I just find it inspiring, and it's just what I love about. I know I say this every time, but it's just the mix of what people are working on. So many different, periods, conflicts, wars, scales, skirmish games, mass battle games. It's just a really good, a good group to be part of. So yeah,
absolutely.
The link should be in the description below. Check it out. Womble across. Answer some really difficult questions. They're not difficult. Sometimes
they're not
difficult at all. It takes about 10 seconds to answer all three. But yeah, there we go. I found it really interesting. It's good to know it's not just me that views the hobby in that way when it comes to sort of my own well-being.
Yeah. I think it's I think it is interesting. I think everyone's sort of on a similar wavelength, but it is interesting to see the reasons that people do it. I just thought something a bit random. If you got to update the playlist at some point, when was the last update of the playlist?
Oh, the Spotify one.
Yeah. You normally update it around about CrackCon, don't you?
Yeah, I will. Yes, I will. I'll post a link. We have actually got a Spotify. We've had quite a lot of new members recently, but we've actually got a Spotify playlist that I sort of oversee.
Curate.
In fact, I'll just I'll check it now. It is currently at 12 hours and 28 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got 148 songs.
And it's not just metal.
No. I mean, number one is Gary Newman. Then we got Madness, Cradle of Filth's in there. Willie Nelson, Doc Boggs, The Offspring, Tracy Ullman, Dire Straits, Sisters of Mercy. I've got to say a big thank you to whoever suggested On a Turntable by the Interrupters. I'd never heard of the Interrupters before. Hearing them on the playlist, I absolutely love them now. They're a fantastic trumpety ska band, just really, really, really good. But yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll post a link if you want anything added to it. Is there any REM? I think there might be some REM in there, Andy. Tim, yeah, I'll put some. I will put that. I'll put Temptation by Cradle in there. I'm not even going to repeat what Steve just put. The Throbbing Gristle GT24 box. I've got no idea. I've got no idea. So yes, I'll do that tomorrow. So if you want anything added, I'll post a link, and it's just a great way. Stick it on Mix, and you will get the most eclectic, mad mixture of music. There's nothing better than going from sort of like Cradle of Filth, and then Tracy Ullman is playing. Thanks, Sean. That was his contribution, was Tracy Ullman. Right, we are at 10 o'clock. Big thank you to everybody that joined us this evening. Big thank you to everyone that's watching on the catch up. Don't forget to use the code PCP5 at Boards and Swords Hobbies when you're checking out to get that awesome 5% discount on your already discounted purchases. Links to all our channels down below. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that
stuff.
All that shill stuff. And we shall join. We'll see you next week on Dom's channel, so Boots on the Table, where we've got Charlie from War Games Atlantic joining us.
Because it's our first guest in a little while, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to that. I think they're a really interesting, unique company. So it's going to be plenty of questions being thrown Charlie's way.
Absolutely. So
like Martin said, Dom will post a link to the stream in Facebook because StreamYard doesn't let us do it anymore for some reason. So with that, just pop your questions in there, and we'll make sure we ask Charlie the questions next week. But as always, thanks for joining us. And we'll probably see you throughout the week on the Facebook group if you remember. But take care, enjoy your hobbying, and we shall see you next Monday. See you, everybody.
Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.